The third pitfall is over improving a dated house. This is probably one of my most frequently asked questions. Tracy, Grandma's house has Formica counters in the kitchen. Should we put granite counters in that kitchen? And really, one needs to look at the overall property, the value of that property within the neighborhood, what buyer expectations are for that home, and if that specific improvement is going to cause a lift in value or not. So an expert knows the difference between dated and deficient. I just showed you the plumbing that was defective and deficient, and there's a difference. Here we're talking about dated. The Formica is dated, and I'm sure the cabinets are dated. However, that kitchen may be structurally solid. It may be vintage, very attractive, where a modern farmhouse lover might find, oh, they want to put in butcher block counters instead and keep the cabinets for a very inexpensive DIY fix to the kitchen. So for me, I always think about the positioning of the home and if every dollar will cause at least a 3x increase, because otherwise you're just paying for an improvement. You are fronting the cost of that improvement. And then if you get equal money back, you really did all that work for nothing. So I don't recommend that. That causes a lot of frustrations. An important thing is to prioritize and then to multi-bid if you're going with certain improvements. I'm going to give you the top paybacks, and that is cleaning and decluttering has an 872% return on investment. So that's the very first thing to do, is to clean, sort, declutter, organize, and have all horizontal surfaces clear and maintain those clean lines and try to showcase the architecture of the home. The second thing that's a very high payback is staging. That's why our team stages our homes. So we may be even if it's an occupied home, we may take the furnishings and rearrange them to showcase the fireplace, the built-ins, to center within the space so that everything is very symmetric, balanced. There's a focal point, and the room will really shine. So we have two, we call them our she sheds, but they are storage units. And we have two of those packed with our home accents, our decor, our artwork, rugs, greenery, adorable French potted lemon trees, pillows, bedding, all kinds of things that we're able to add into a space so that it will go from being, let's say, positioned towards just one part of the market, maybe an older buyer that has the same exact taste. But we're able to open up the spectrum of buyers by adding current on-trend staging that will make the house really sing and speak to a larger group of buyers, creating more showings, more offers, competitive bids, and more money to the family. So staging has a 586% return, and painting the interior is a 250% return. I will tell you a trick. We often have luck washing the walls and using magic eraser if the walls are in pretty good shape. It's amazing, but we have made walls that the owners thought for a fact needed to be repainted, and we freshened them that way, and it was so inexpensive compared to paying a painter. So over improving a dated house, if you don't have an expert to rely on to really know what buyers will pay for and what they won't pay for, then you're going to be focusing on updates that you see on HGTV and Joanna and Chip Gaines and all of the wonderful fix and flip shows. And those are wonderful ideas. But again, those are renovations. It's not just remodeling. It's a bigger project. You're ripping out and then reassembling and installing on those kinds of projects. What we find will get your high ROI is if you work with the structure that's currently in place, and then if you enhance that. But if you're untrained, you might go down the road of redoing a kitchen, and that could be very costly. The other thing is, oftentimes we'll see half-finished projects and materials laying around. In one of our properties, we had a large soaking tub, and they had meant to build that into the master bathroom. So the family wanted to go ahead and finish that renovation, but instead we had the plans, the architectural plans. We had that tub and some other Home Depot purchases, and we just bundled with the sale those materials and the plans so that the next buyer could do the project should they choose. The other thing that I see is untrained folks, that they get kind of digging into these projects and the timeline gets away from them. So instead of there being a hard deadline, we will go on market on this date. The first week, we're getting the landscaping spring cleanup finished. We are going to have the laundry room repainted. We are doing the deep clean, the home organization, and then the last 3 days of the week, the stagers are coming. We're going on market on Thursday. There will be no timeline, and so things go on month after month after month, and that just causes family fatigue, but it also is affecting, again, the unoccupied home, the weather damage that can happen, vandalism, thieves that are attracted to such homes. And so that's another reason not to over improve the dated house. Plus the return on investment, if you look for a new kitchen, what the return on investment is, it is only 83%. So you're losing money on that new kitchen. Some people don't realize that. They think it's going to they'll get twice back what they put in, but that is not the case. That's why most renovations and remodeling is done for the benefit of the occupant of the home, because they want to enjoy their home for another 7 years. And they're willing to take a loss on it because it's going to be exactly what they want. And they realize you have to pay for quality. So avoid extra work and lost money for no financial benefit by keeping this pitfall in mind and heeding this advice. This is a condo that we sold in Rochester Hills. And when we got there, this is what it looked like. That was a really worn out linoleum floor. And this is what we did to it. That's the same countertop. It's a new vinyl wood look floor, very easy to lay, but everything was just cleaned up. Then we brought in a beautiful little tray with some greenery, and I think that's our French press pot on there actually. And this is a peek into the living room, and you can see the carpeting is buckled, it's quite worn, and look at the furnishings, they're quite dated. And over here, this is what we did. We brought in a bistro set for two reasons. One, to show the spacing of it. This is with the new carpeting. But secondly, I don't want any buyers hitting their heads on these hanging fixtures because that really is a turnoff and it kind of stops the warm fuzzies from continuing when they're looking through a home.